Just when you think it couldn't get better, it just did. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, The Wealthy Mindset. It's yours truly, Money Making Mitch. And as usual guys, this is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence and research. So I want to thank Money Making Melvin for this information. It is so beautiful. But before I go on with this video, I would like to ask you guys to at least hit the thumbs up. It does take a lot of time to do these videos and the editing. And also, if any of you all have a wheelbarrow that you can lend me, I'm going to need to borrow one from you guys. You know, the wheelbarrow with the one wheel with the two handles, because I'll need it to carry the money around. So what else is happening to make me so incredibly bullish on this company NIO and on this stock to understand that we're going to be millionaires? Well, a lot. We have a lot of things happening next year. And this is why Emperor Lee said it a couple months ago. And people, it did not really dawn on me when he said we're going to become profitable by 2026. It seems it's going to happen by the end of 2025. You see, we have the African factory that is going to be built. And anything shipping from Africa doesn't have tariffs because of that free trade agreement between Europe and Africa. People still did not get that. That's why he said they're going to start releasing Firefly in the second half of next year. Also, we have Onboard that's ramping up in such a massive way. By March, it's going to blow people's minds. Right around in March, we're going to release the ET9. We're going to release that ET9, which is the extraterrestrial 9 that the world says it's impossible to do, and the Chinese, we did it. Also, we're going to be releasing Firefly. The ET6 is coming out. The 7-seater is coming out. We are dominating the landscape. We are no longer going to dominate the landscape. We are dominating it. So what else has happened? The CEO, NIO CEO on battery swapping, he said 2,000 new stations in 2025. But why is this possible? Firefly strategy and CATL rivalry. In 2023, electric car maker NIO built over 1,000 battery swap stations in China. And at that time, the critics were saying that it's cash burn, it's a waste. Just do what Xpeng and the rest of them is doing. Just make EVs. And after 8 years, if the battery and the car is worthless, who cares? That's up to the consumer, but us investors will make a lot of money. And William Lee said, shut your mouth and pull your pants up and be a man. We're building an empire that will last for 1,000 years. A year ago, the company's founder and CEO, Emperor William Lee, had promised that the company would again add 1,000 stations in the country while adding new EV manufacturers to its battery alliance. And we saw the new EV alliance. We saw that. However, last July, the chief executive admitted that the target would be missed by 1 or 2 months. As of this Wednesday, the EV maker has 2,868. So we almost got there. And we're still putting out stations where customers can swap the car batteries in less than 3 minutes. You heard that right. For those of you all who don't know who NIO is, it's the premium EV company in China that does battery swapping instead of charging, where you don't have to wait 20 minutes and freeze your hand in the rain and the hot sun. In mid-December, China's battery giant CATL just recently introduced 2 standardized battery models named number 20 and number 25, developed in collaboration with nearly 100 partners. The number 20 battery pack using LFP technology provides a capacity of 42 kilowatt hour, supporting a range of 400 kilometers, with the number 25 battery pack offering a larger capacity of 56 kilowatt hours and a range of 500 kilometers. Asked to comment on CATL's new announcement, they asked Emperor Lee. He said last Sunday that, excuse me guys, he said last Sunday that I noticed the battery used in CATL swap station is smaller, likely targeting entry level, relatively lower price vehicles. So Lee said last Sunday that their two new standardized batteries will play a different segment than NIO's new brand Firefly, a different segment. So for those who are worried about the competition, worry no more. Pull your pants up again. I noticed that the battery used in cattle swap station is smaller, likely targeting entry-level, relatively lower price vehicles, like for that of BYD and Xpeng and stuff. Currently, the models they collaborate on are priced lower than our Firefly, which is also a good approach. NIO CEO said 12 hours after holding the NIO Day event in Guangzhou. In the long term, he said, in the long term, we will have many resources tailored to different standards. Perhaps we will operate some networks and they will operate others. Excuse me, guys. We will explore ways to collaborate. We will explore ways to collaborate. Unlike with the other EV companies that don't like doing that, we always try to collaborate. You can imagine there will be many possibilities, he said. Emperor Lee teased without sharing any details or a timeline. After a slower deployment of stations in China in the first half of the year, the company has been accelerating it and can now build and open 200 stations in 30 days. Wrap your heads around that, guys. Regarding overseas infrastructure, media friends in Europe should know that infrastructure construction in Europe is slower. In China in December this year, we can build 200 swap stations in a month. 200 in 1 month. Next year, we plan to build 2,000 swap stations, Lee said, before noting that the pace in Europe will be slower. I'm not going to get into why, but 2,000 swap stations in China next year because that factory is finished. If we look at Europe's pace, the construction process will likely be slower. In fact, we already have a swap station factory in Hungary outside Budapest, and the production capacity there is sufficient, he said. It's sufficient. NIO's brand Firefly will utilize smaller batteries than the NIO and the Onvo models. The compact EV will have dedicated battery swap stations, which according to Lee will be much cheaper, the size of a shipping container. And more models is going to be coming out under this Firefly, that size car. For Firefly swap stations, and I'm quoting Emperor Lee, we use much less infrastructure, including transportation and construction costs, which are much lower. Construction costs in Europe are only 1/3 of the cost of NIO current swap stations. Additionally, the speed will be faster. We can perform very simple leveling and very quickly assembly, he noted. So for the Firefly swap station design, we specifically optimized it for Europe to build quickly and cheaply. I think it will be faster than our original plan, Lee added. Woo! Guys, it's getting yummy for the tummy. We also will cooperate with various partners. Last week, Firefly President Daniel Jin had clarified that the battery swap stations will be deployed gradually based on demand, so there's no cash burn. With overseas markets relying on partners for station setups, the executive who joined the company in 2022 said he expects slower growth in overseas markets initially, but sees significant potential for expansions in the long term. Remember, this is going into Latin America and all of Southeast Asia as well, this Firefly. NIO's new battery swap station plant in Wuhan, which is currently ramping up production, has 20,000 square meters. And we're ramping up production just like with the Onvo. And is expected to scale up to 1,500 units annually, generating projected revenue of $275.3 million US. Firefly is expected to contribute positively to the company's overall profitability, CEO William Lee said, has set clear return on investment targets for Firefly, and Daniel Jin emphasized that the project must be profitable and will not negatively impact the group's margins. NIO aims to enter at least 25 global markets by the end of next year. The Emperor still reiterated that, while doubling sales over 440,000 units, with Firefly planned to be one of the major contributors. So if you had any doubts about whether you need to keep averaging down or buying more shares, doubt no more. Don't be like Doubting Thomas. So I hope you guys found this video to be informational, inspirational, and motivational. If so, guys, do not forget to hit that thumbs up because it takes a lot of time to do these videos and the editing. And if you haven't yet subscribed, you might want to think about doing so, because in this channel, we're waking up the middle class for the first time to get a major piece of the pie as to how the game is played on Wall Street. And like 50 said, we get rich or we die trying, guys.